Hello everybody, welcome to the second video of Friday. Now this one is one that I've wanted to make for the last week, but I just haven't really had the time to fit it in, and that's all about taking different champions, in particular one specific like synergy or kind of set of champions or team against MODOK Island, an event which obviously when it was launched I didn't really like, and as well felt that if you were taking a diverse team in, that it really wouldn't represent obviously type of bosses you'll go up against, the various nodes, constant abilities, or so constant need to re-roll all the time or buff delete, therefore making your take home from something like an epic grind not that valuable and not that worth it. But I'm going to try and eat my words a little bit and look at other methods as to grinding this out. Now there's two write-ups that I really want you to go and consider and take a look at, and that's first of all being Frontline. Obviously this is Frontline MCOC, this is Dan, Frontline MCOC, my co-host of the Contest Round podcast. He's done two articles. One article is looking at Actually Good Island of Dr. MODOK. So it really goes into deep dives, deep details as to, you know, whether or not the event is good, problems, solutions, class specific lanes, buff deleters, a whole host of things obviously are taken into consideration, and you should go and give it a read first and foremost. But it's this article here that he dropped, I think it was like yesterday, which is Island of Dr. MODOK, Corvus versus Tech Path. He has done a video on this which I strongly suggest going and checking out, but you know, I thought let's go and test this out and see whether or not Corvus, as well as a few other kind of changes and considerations, could make this a little bit more cheesier, and also I wouldn't need to spend it on the deleter, and as well any kind of re-rolls with the dice thingy-majobs. Here we go with the team. Now I will talk about the team in a moment. Obviously the path has Avengers on, it has champions that do evades, which I did mess up, but I'll talk about that when we get to the Stark Spidey fight. First and foremost, the fight is against an Avenger. And obviously it's important to check the nodes, which obviously I'm doing now. I'm kind of thinking it's the first champion up, so it's not going to be too difficult. I don't need to re-roll. And the stuff like short burst lockdown, which let's face it, we're all in at the moment, an aspect of evolution, and arc overload didn't really kind of like worry me. And as I said, 71k of a champion isn't really something to worry about. And the thing is, when I first did MODOK Islands, I made the mistake. And I think I made the mistake in kind of having a more diverse set. And something that I did reiterate was that I would do synergy groups and kind of look at maybe something different in the future, maybe some class advantage, which obviously we're doing at the moment a little better than I did before. And the fact is, obviously, I want to get the Avengers and the Tech. So that's two missions done for Corvus right off the bat, which obviously is there and completed. Now the team I went for was one that smushed together the likes of Archangel, which we're going to use in a minute, and also I'm just doing a little bit of a check then, looking at the boss, which is Hulk Ragnarok. But the main thing is that I wanted a team that was diverse enough that I could still try and like train some stuff. Aegon's in there just for the hell of it, and that was kind of like a weird move to put in that champion, because a lot of the time I'm just going to use Corvus, and as well I'm going to be using Archangel. And Archangel is one of those champions that it's kind of like allowing you to cheese that event a little bit. So if you have a 4-star or 5-star version, doing epic may be a little bit more doable. I'm not going to say it's going to be like so easy, but it's going to be more doable. Especially like watch out for stuff like Limber, but you know, having Archangel in, which we have at the moment, just kind of like sees a good amount of damage like ticking away. Node depending, obviously if you've got like a load of nodes that are going to be, or buffs to the enemy that's going to be not as beneficial in this kind of line, and as well Limber, it's going to mean it's not going to work so well. But you can see that we've kind of cheesed through that fight with minimum effort. And the whole thing about this video is looking at lazy approaches, and as well quality of life and time sensitive. Before it took me about 20+ minutes to do this, but again it boils down to wrong champion selection, and as well trying to find best uses for stuff. And I want to do further videos on this, and do bear in mind, if you're not all about doing the grind for epic you know, all the time, then you can wait. And the same thing with Master, same thing with any of it, you can wait, and you can use those collectors at any point in time during it. Now we're just finishing off the Dr. Octopus fight, which let's face it, with this kind of like tentacle bug, I am seeing some like issues. I mean, yeah, you can see the animations are a bit broken, and like timing is just like weird and so off the way that the tentacles pass through the player. And I had a real bad time first off. This is just a complete, like just a little mopping up. So we're just kind of like clearing off this this champion a little bit. And Proxima's in there just to like help at Aegon. I'm checking the missions, but to be honest, there's no point for me to check it out. But I just wanted to get a bit of practicing because I've not played with Proxima in a while, and just kind of like getting my idea of like true accuracy, you know, when stuff pings up and stuff like that. Just a bit of training and kind of like remembering a little bit, backing off. Explosive personality is such an annoying thing, especially against champions that are a little bit buggy, and I'm quite happy to go back to my Corvus. Now, do like me a little bit of a Guillotine 2099 fight, which I kind of mess up the way that you're meant to kind of like play that kind of miss before it triggers off. And it's just a case of like going time. Time's always a kind of a sensitive thing, isn't it? Just like get in, get out, get it done. I think for me, I had like about 14 to 15 minutes available before I went out for a run, and then I'm back recording and editing, eat lunch, you know, just how it rolls. That was alright. That was just a very straightforward fight, and obviously, like I'm trying to like show, like the way that, you know, Dan presents his video and information. Everyone's using Corvus. Corvus does really well on the tech path. This is where I make a mistake. Okay, now this is the mistake. Obviously, with the AI, if the AI was up, and then I decided to throw off a special, then I would have got the champion to trigger off evade. Because I overpowered, I didn't get the third mission. So just a forewarning there. If you want to make sure that you're at least getting that third mission, if there is an option for an evade, like a Stark Spidey interaction or fight, then it is important to not kind of like trigger off that AI rebooting and just kind of like wait until it comes back. Throw your SP1 so the enemy goes into evade, and then it's the case that you'll get that mission after you do the heavy attack, and that would have been beneficial to see much more damage than what we're going to see at the end. Obviously, Archangel and that combination, all about Archangel and Corvus, those two champions, could pretty much just kind of slay that lane. And obviously, again, like I'm not pointing out to say you have to have these two champions, because I will be trying to do further videos saying like, okay, well, what about this champion, that champion, you know, those kind of things. So I'm going to try and do more of those videos as well in the coming week. I kind of feel in some ways it has been a bit too late, but I've had a lot of stuff on personally that I just needed to kind of like deal with. Either way, it's nice to see the Archangel ringing in true, especially obviously with class disadvantage, I must admit. And yeah, maybe like a little class advantage on the skill path, but I think that path's a little bit trollish at times, depending on what champions you go up against. And something to bear in mind as well, like end bosses. But the fact is, if you go up against a champion that's an end boss and evades, then you could have, if you have like Corvus on your team, and then you add to it the likes of, I think it's a mutant, or Proxima, one of the two, that you change your true accuracy to true strike, so that will be able to sort out a lot of the evade side of things. But yeah, you might have to buff delete. I think I got quite fortunate that I was going up against the likes of a very good path, and that may be something with the tech line that it's kind of good to have Corvus on, and as well like the boss. Hulk Ragnarok isn't too bad of a champion to go up against as an end boss. I think you'll find a lot. I mean, I think my first experience with going up against Darkhawk was an unpleasant one, and I think Kabam, you know, that's kind of like, that's when you put these certain kind of like bosses in that are just very unpleasant, and that's the sour taste in the mouth. That I also seen people like go up against like Nightcrawler, and if you don't have a counter to that, and at the same time when it comes to other elements, it can be very, very frustrating, and that's the fun aspect, you know, taken out of the game. This is nice. Okay. So we're getting up to the SP2 very quickly, and in a moment. And by the way, I kind of nipped down the health because I didn't know how difficult this was going to be. Boom. Not Suicide Mastery, but still a nice 30k damage to end off there. So that was good to see. And Corvus ringing in true. So yeah, as I said, it's just one of these little videos where I wanted to test out. Obviously, it doesn't show like amazing playing style, but the thing is, it's all about making it as easy as possible. Time-sensitive stuff is really important. And I managed to, with Corvus, cut down my grind by about 10 minutes, as opposed to the last time I recorded, which was incredibly boring. Because as I said, I was taking in my strongest champions. I wasn't thinking about maybe synergy champions and maybe champions and on a different route that could be more effective. So yeah, tech route with a Corvus Glaive and an Archangel could be very helpful. yes, not everybody has that, and I will do further videos to kind of showcase maybe some other champions that work in a great fashion. Maybe people in the comment section actually giving other suggestions of champions they use that allowed to go of it quite well. Shout out to Dan of Frontline MCOC. All links to his socials and as well frontlinemcc.home.blog are in the description down below. I thought I'd give this a crack, and it was actually kind of interesting, so I might use this in the future, but as I said, I want to test out some other theories and other synergies. And yeah, thanks very much for the support on the channel, and see you tonight in the live stream over on twitch.tv/RichTheMan live. Obviously, it's a good time to renew your Amazon Prime if you want to do so as well. And finally, check out some other content which I posted today. So the Marvel Contest of Champions news, and as well one from yesterday as well. And also check out some other stuff down here where my green screen isn't placed properly, so it's just like I'm going invisible. Hopefully by the end of today I get the Thanos Gauntlet. So if you're in the stream later on, I should be able to showcase it. Fingers crossed. And then a video on that next week. And also you'll see it in more Marvel Contest of Champions news. So see you later. Bye bye for now.